Here today on the island of Crete, this is the ancient city of Knossos. You'll see it's fantastically preserved, and we're going to do a little tour through the entire location. Can't believe how excited I am to show you this. Aside from the Labyrinth, which not many people get to see, this open area is one of the most famous aspects of this whole site. This is the area of the dancing dwarves. This would have been what I would have wanted to see at 2000 BC, populated by dozens and dozens and dozens of dancing dwarves, singing, dancing, putting on shows, little people extravaganzas. This particular culture also had an interesting religious aspect to it. We haven't talked anything about religion for the most part. This tree, obviously also original, is where all the babies were born in this town. It was the Fertility Tree. They brought the mothers down here for the birthing process. You can see right there where they would lay the mother out for the whole birthing process. There's a well over here in the corner that you can't really see anymore where they brought the water in, warmed it up with the fires right here. But every baby born in this town was born underneath this tree. Make sure you get this because this is fascinating stuff. This is obviously not originally Greek. This is not 2000 BC. This was redone during Roman times. So I think they date this to about 200 AD in the first reconstruction of this site. Obviously the walkways were put here so that people would not trample and interfere with the original Greek substructure that was there. The Romans were one of the first archaeologists. Again, I can't wait to get to Rome to show you some of that also.
Like 20,000 years ago.
I mean, you realize right now we're in Greece.
Yeah.
I mean, like the country.
Yeah.
This is not America anymore.
I know. Weird.
Yeah. One thing that's important in Crete in particular is the Cretans were the first ones to invent doors. Before this time, you had to get in and out of buildings basically just by going through windows. And that was obviously a big problem back then. So this particular invention, this is really what made the whole Mediterranean region take off. Right here. The women are only done in profiles because if you're looking at them head on, that is when sort of the bad curses happen. Unfortunately, in this particular picture, it's head on with the boobs, so it's a bad sexual omen. This is the original Minotaur myth brought to life. One thing I particularly like about this picture is the original artwork, including the original framing, the original glasswork. Amazing that this thing would have survived for 4,000 years. But what you have here is the original bull, which impregnated the princess, oddly, through the chest. Back then it was a very sort of boob-centric culture. So the impregnation is here, and then this is obviously where you get the Minotaur. Unbeknownst to many people back then, the Minotaur was obviously red. This is the stable of the snakes. Say that 3 times quickly. Come on in, let me show you. The reason they called it the stable of the snakes was obviously back then snakes were much, much bigger than they are today. We're talking massive pythons that they kept here for entertainment purposes. They would play in and around these barrels on the one side. They would keep it over here. They had nice little wooden areas where they would keep the snakes inside. This was also the area where only the most religious people were allowed to come. And if you were down here and you were not one of the priests or other religious people in the community, you're immediately fed to the snakes. Like that, don't you? Unlike some other cultures around the world where purple was the royal color, here is red. So you see these things all over these sites. This is magnificent, obviously totally original. This is maintained fabulously. What this basically symbolizes is a big penis. This is a big red bull penis. It goes along very closely with the Minotaur theme. This is an area of town called the shit stream. This is where all the crap would literally flow right down the street. Obviously this is not the right part of town to live. This is sort of down water. The rich folks lived up water, and all the poor people lived down here at the bottom of the shit stream. Yeah, and the reason that this city eventually lost all of its population is a bit of an odd one. They don't talk about it very often. It was excessive shade. You see these trees here, these are the remnants. The trees back in those days grew up hundreds of feet high, and they basically crowded out the sun. There was no sun in this city. Once they got to the point where there was no sun in this city, they obviously couldn't grow any crops. When you can't grow any crops, then you can't live here anymore. So that was the end of this civilization. They had to move to another area. It would have been nice if they could have figured out how to cut down the trees, but that culture never figured out how to work an axe. Complicated technology.